You always know the truth, because when you cut yourself or someone else with it, there's always a bloody show. Karma is given, not to those who ask, but to those who ask of nothing. Kant thought things, not because they were true, but because he was caught. History is idle gossip about a happening whose truth is lost the instant it has taken place. Common man's patience will bring him more happiness than common man's power. Whatever happens to your body, your soul will survive, untouched. If that's the case, I understand why emotions are hard for you. You've numbed yourself to make room for the grief you carry. The truth will set you free, but not until it is finished with you. Life can only be understood backwards, but it must be lived forward. You may tend to get cancer from the thing that makes you want to smoke so much, not from the smoking itself. Make the most of what you have and keep your standards high. Never settle for anything less than you deserve or are capable of achieving. Lower your expectations, but never lower your standards. I speak to everyone in the same way, whether he is the garbage man or the president of the university. A fool is a man who defies all odds and loses. A genius is a man who defies all odds and wins. Do not get obsolete like an old technology. Keep innovating yourself. There is no harm in taking a step forward if you are not standing on the mountain's brink. Above all, never think you're not good enough. Never think that. In life, people will take you at your own reckoning. It's not always what we don't know that gets in our way. Sometimes it's what we think we know that keeps us from learning. All any of us wanted, really, was to know that we counted, that someone else's life would not have been as rich without us here. To live greatly, we must develop the capacity to face trouble with courage, disappointment with cheerfulness, and triumph with humility. Nothing can disturb your peace of mind unless you allow it to. It is difficult, when faced with a situation you cannot control, to admit you can do nothing. Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. The truth is messy. It's raw and uncomfortable. You can't blame people for preferring lies. Failure is the condiment that gives success its flavor. Upon my word, I think the truth is the hardest missile one can be pelted with. When we venture in that unfamiliar sea, we trust blindly in those who guide us, believing that they know more than we do. Light in your mind is better than darkness in your soul. Don't dwell on things. Don't stay in one place too long. It was the only way to stay ahead of sadness. You don't know me. You know one me, just like I know one you. And you can't know every me, and I can't know every you. Evolution is a revolution without R, and R is a renewal of the mind. Life was meant to be lived, and curiosity must be kept alive. One must never, for whatever reason, turn his back on life. Appear weak when you are strong and strong when you are weak. You must find the place inside yourself where nothing is impossible. Happiness consists in frequent repetition of pleasure. It's never the value of water but thirst. It's never the value of life but death, and it's never about the friendship but trust. The boy and his heart had become friends, and neither was capable now of betraying the other. We shall not cease from exploration, and the end of all our exploring will be to arrive where we started and know the place for the first time. I can calculate the motion of heavenly bodies, but not the madness of people. Anyone who knows me should learn to know me again, for I am like the moon. You will see me with new face every day. When you see a good person, think of becoming like her/him. When you see someone not so good, reflect on your own weak points. I do not believe in taking the right decision. I take a decision and make it right. Success is a little like wrestling a gorilla. You don't quit when you're tired. You quit when the gorilla is tired. He who jumps into the void owes no explanation to those who stand and watch. Embrace being perfectly imperfect. Learn from your mistakes and forgive yourself. You'll be happier. Keep going. It's not as difficult as you feel it is. Don't give up. You have to be the bravest person in the world to go out every day, being yourself when no one likes who you are. To see a world in a grain of sand and a heaven in a wild flower, hold infinity in the palm of your hand and eternity in an hour. All great things must first wear terrifying and monstrous masks in order to inscribe themselves on the hearts of humanity. The journey is what brings us happiness, not the destination. Through synergy of intellect, artistry, and grace came into existence the blessing of a dancer. It is not death that a man should fear, but he should fear never beginning to live. Life's like a painter's palette. Just when you've got everything worked out, the colors change. Keep your friends close, your enemies even closer. Great truths can only be forgotten and can never be falsified. We have a responsibility to help those around us and help others in need. It is this belief in a power larger than myself and other than myself which allows me to venture into the unknown and even the unknowable. Everything will turn out right. The world is built on that. Living a princely life requires that you learn to think and reason like the prince, talk and behave like him, react like him as well. Never hold resentments for the person who tells you what you need to hear. Count them among your truest, most caring, and valuable friends. Somebody may beat me, but they are going to have to bleed to do it. The world is a prison in which solitary confinement is preferable. It had always seemed to him a very plush kind of problem, a privilege, really, to consider whether life was meaningful or not. The life of the enemy. Whoever lives for the sake of combating an enemy has an interest in the enemy staying alive. You cannot change anyone, but you can be the reason someone changes. Everybody knows death is inevitably coming, but it never fails to catch everybody by surprise every time one is going. This is what comes of having a heart, even a very small and young one. It causes no end of trouble, and that's the truth. It is easy to be conspicuously compassionate if others are being forced to pay the cost. Travel brings wisdom only to the wise. It renders the ignorant more ignorant than ever. I don't like people around me sad. I like making people happy. You are beautiful. Know this. Anyone who tells you otherwise is simply lying. You are beautiful. If I had a shiny gun, I could have a world of fun speeding bullets through the brains of the folks that cause me pains, smiley face. Doubting your judgments is the beginning of enlightenment. Life is and will ever remain an equation incapable of solution, but it contains certain known factors. The wide-awake man seizes opportunities or makes them, and thus those who are widest awake usually come to the front. Problems in science are sometimes made easier by adding complications. Atticus, he was real nice. Most people are, scout, when you finally see them. If you really want something, you can figure out how to make it happen. Be happy with who you are and what you do, and you can do anything you want. Even as a solid rock is unshaken by the wind, so are the wise unshaken by praise or blame. There are souls in this world who have the gift of finding joy everywhere and leaving it behind them when they go. Nobody realizes that some people expend tremendous energy merely to be normal. The illiterate is not the one who has never gone to school, but the illiterate is the one who never tries to learn something by himself. My feet are shaking, but I'll do whatever it takes to take a step forward. If you've never eaten while crying, you don't know what life tastes like. Now and then it's good to pause in our pursuit of happiness and just be happy. One day in my shoes and a day for me in your shoes. The beauty of travel lies in the ease and willingness to be more open. Happiness is not something ready-made. It comes from your own actions. My only advice is to stay aware, listen carefully, and yell for help if you need it. You are art. You are a masterpiece. Treat yourself as such. Health is hearty. Health is harmony. Health is happiness. Regrets are about decisions that you know you should have done different. Ideen mij vojum zivilgenja so teest, ki si jai postavis sam. Pessimistic tidak lebi deripatus sikap takber mindahului nazib. Ignore all hatred and criticism. Live for what you create, and die protecting it. The one who falls and gets up is stronger than the one who never tried. Do not fear failure, but rather fear not trying. All these years of thinking, ending up like this, in front of all this beauty, understanding nothing. The passage of time should never extinguish your spark or diminish your dreams. Always remember, you are never too old to shine brightly. The most important thing I gained from my travels was the knowledge that one could achieve anything with determination and an ounce of luck. Sometimes the best of God's gifts arrive by the shattering of all the window panes.